affecting your gas mileage, and more. And you don't have to drive too far to find the fix. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service is available at all 6,200 stores. Get in the zone, AutoZone. See details at AutoZone.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The weather outside might be cold, but these deals at Townsend Nissan are hot. Like $2,000 discounts on select new Nissans and finance rates as low as 1.9. Wow! And up to 90 days before your first payment. Townsend Nissan has the inventory that you want with over 200 new and used units in stock. And yes, we want that trade-in regardless of its condition today. And yes, Townsend Nissan does build some of the most fuel-efficient, safe, and economical vehicles on the road. Keep your family safe in a Townsend Nissan. Y'all come see us today.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
We're forecasting a mixture of clouds and sunshine today. Tuscaloosa's high around 50. For tonight, mostly clear with a low at 29. Tomorrow is sunny day, the high 55. And for Saturday, we stay dry, partly sunny with a high at 59. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 37 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Softmark Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at softmarkdesign.com.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. We're live, local, and ready to get things going. I want to welcome in those who join us via YouTube. Had technical difficulty on the YouTube side of things getting launched this morning, but they are into the conversation. So, guys, you're always welcome to chat us up. 205-342-9904. The Alabama One hotline is also open for business. Talking Bama hoops this morning. Mixed bag on the game last night, but I think it was a really good game. And CJ Watson, I think, commenting on the concessions at any of the meets. My wife, 2 kids, and I went to the gym meet last week, got a burger, Coke, water, pretzel, Dippin' Dot, and a bag of candy. $66.
Oh, wow.
We just gonna be hungry the next time. Hey, man. Woo, yes, sir. All right. Virgil Williams talking about Virgil Williams said, even though JD was a high scorer for the team, he was pressing too much and turned it over and took some terrible shots. They need to keep him off the ball. I agree with part of that sentiment. We don't win last night, though, without JQ's play. In my opinion, I think he pressed a little bit early, especially, and had a couple bad turnovers and had one really bad shot, I know, in the second half where he got blocked at the rim with that little floater, and he had a bad turnover. But Joe, that little section there where him and Clowney took over the game, to me, was a turning point. What about your thoughts?
Yeah, I think JQ gives the team an edge that really they thrive off of. And yes, you're going to get the turnover, the live ball turnover with JQ, but you're also going to get the pushing the ball up the court. Lately you've got a lot of made 3-pointers. I mean, let's be honest, Mark Sears really struggled last night. You needed JQ.
Absolutely.
You needed him in the game, and Martin on what last Friday night, some Auburn guys snuck into JQ's Twitter DMs and tweets. And he's been Saturday's performance and Wednesday's performance. He's been fired up ever since.
Yeah, and he does seem to be playing with it was interesting. Been at the game X last night, and our seats last night were literally right at the goal on our end, and so I was able to see it, several times. And like I said, I agree that he pushed a little bit last night and had a couple key turnovers, but I also think he was extremely, extremely important to that win. And to your point, last night, Mark was not. He was just a little off. His three wasn't going, which I think is first time I saw it. X was his three is actually what makes him such a great driver. It gives him just, I think, a step quicker. And when they realized he was off on that three, they were playing off of him. They were not up on him, so he wasn't able to get as quick a release to the goal. Your thoughts?
Yeah, the three ball was just kind of off for everybody last night.
It was.
Just hitting 5 on the night when you're averaging, I think they said last night, 11 and a half through SEC play. But you had JQ, even with a couple of his mistakes, really did step up. Clowney was cold, ice cold in the first half. But he hit some big shots down the stretch. And hey, we've talked about the free throw shooting and how that needed to improve. And that's the biggest part of why we ended up winning that game, with our 3-shot being as off as it was, over 80% last night from 3, 86, I think, while holding Mississippi State to 66% was the biggest difference in the game. And, proud of these guys, overcoming an adversity. Bad first half as a team, but to play as good as they did in the second half was really impressive for me.
Yeah, two things there, and like the free throw was one of those things that we said this team has to improve in the free throws if they're gonna make a run. 86.4%, 19 for 22 last night, 6 for 7 in the first half, 13 for 15 in the second half. Joe, to me, that's what they needed. They needed a tight game at home where they trail and have to push. The last 2 times they've trailed, they've been able to close the gap, but not overcome the gap. And to me, last night, their free throw shooting was clutch and big time in terms of this team taking another step. So I think last night's game only puts another block in this team building a championship caliber team. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you that it's good to be tested. I mean, you look through their schedule; they've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Their last 9 games have all been double-digit wins. Have all been easy. You're at the end of the ball game. It's 85-64 against Missouri. You're shooting free throws. I mean, you had to have some important free throws against Vanderbilt on last Tuesday night. But for the large majority of the month of January, you've been kicking teams' butt. So I think it's good to. I agree. I think what you said. I think it's good to have a close game and to keep being tested. I mean, really, all of this is leading up to end of February and March. So it's good. We gotta. We can't get used to beating teams by 30 because that's not the way the March opponents will be.
Yeah, it's fun to be in the stands and hear the Bama fans now in basketball. It don't take us Bama fans long to get unrealistic expectations.
Well, Martin, I'm not that way with football, but I've always with basketball. You hear my voice. I'm up in the stands, yelling my tail off. Every turn up. Yeah, I turned to the friend I was with last night. I said, I like close games in football, the drama. That's fun for me. But I want the joyless murder ball in basketball.
That's interesting thought there. I wonder how many other fans are kind of that way. But as you look at it, man, and this team, it didn't take long for the folks up there. Oh my God, man, that's horrible. Every time Mississippi State would hit a shot, I'm like, guys, Mississippi State usually don't shoot threes as well. I mean, I said they are definitely hot. Their bigs were a combined 10 10 for 14. So 6 and 9 for Tolu Smith, and McNair Jr. was 4 for 5 under the bucket. So I mean, they just had, they had some things going, and hit critical threes every time we make a run. But that takes me to the other part of this team. Even though our offense was off, defense was still there. This team scored 36 points in the first half, ended the second half with 63 points. I mean, first half they were 17 for 30, second half 9 for 26. They dropped their shooting percentage X from over 56.5% down to just over 34.5%. And dropped the three from 33% down to 11%. So their defense, once again, is championship level defense. If they can do these types of things, play this type of offensive game, and still come out winning when the top scorer for Alabama only has 13 points, Alabama is setting up to be definitely a contender.
Yeah, and this was one of those games where Brandon Miller was 5 for 9 from the field. Sometimes I want him to shoot more in these types of games. Don't know why he wasn't feeling it or pulling up more, but just one of those things. As the top guy on this team, I just want to see him shoot some more.
Well, last night, they let them physically play Brandon. I think they grabbed him a lot, held him a lot. I mean, that he had to hustle to get the ball last night, and it seemed like they let him play a little more physical with him. Would you agree with that, Joe? I mean, but then he did get some. I think I call them the Michael Jordan calls down the stretch too.
I do. I think Mississippi State, I think that was their game plan to come in and muck it up a little bit. And I think they forced the officials to call foul. It's like if you hold on every play, you're only going to call. So it was kind of like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, those football games where you've seen where the DB they've come into the game and they're literally gonna commit a PI on every single play and either make the officials call it every single time or get away with quite a few. And that's what they did last night. But this team responded. Like I said, Bediako went out early with the 2 fouls. And in the first half, the physicality kind of got to Alabama a little bit, I think, because at times we had to double down, which left some of those guys for wide open threes. But once again, this basketball team adjusted, did what they needed to do, and as Curtis Lewis said, excellent defense won this game. I mean, this team, as I said early on, we were trending toward, I think, 18 to 20 turnovers. If you take the fact that I think we had 4 or 5 turnovers, maybe in the first 5 to 8 minutes. It seemed like more, but it wasn't, because we ended the first half with 7, ended the second half with 5. And if we play a half of basketball with only 5 turnovers, we're going to be pretty good. And like I said, I think that 3 to end the first half may have been it actually got the play of the game in terms of the in Coliseum play of the game as it rattled around and went down and took that 10-point lead down to 7. And then we chased him down. We're not going to have Hank South this morning, but we are going to talk a little recruiting, the true false. We'll do all of that stuff still this morning. We'll have that conversation on the other side. But kudos to Nate Oates, his basketball team. Big challenge this weekend. We'll talk about that on tomorrow. Does Alabama and the SEC represent itself well in the Big 12 showdown? Joe, this is one of those things that, man, I guess we should be true false on. Would you love to see this type of matchup in the Power 5? And is that something that may be coming when we get all of these conferences realigned and maybe you have some different weekends where you have Power 5 conferences challenging each other? I would love to see that, other than just at bowl time. Give us a better idea of what conferences truly are the best. We'll have more of that conversation right here on the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports. That up next.
This is a Town Square Media Tide 100.9 Sports Update.
I'm Kim Rankin with your Tide Sports Update. Former Alabama quarterback Jalen Hurts has been named a finalist for the 2022 NFL MVP Award. Gordo High School quarterback Brax Garrison has set his commitment date for February 1st. Dan Mullen is reportedly out of the running for the Alabama offensive coordinator job.
This has been a Town Square Media Tide 100.9 Sports Update. Run it again! For more info on these stories and more, download the Tide 100.9 app.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks on a beautiful Thursday morning. Go look at that sunrise. Everything looks good. If you see conditions, just give me a call. Business is so good at Townsend Nissan, they need your help in sales and service. Go see BJ or Kylan at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
Straight Talk Wireless knows there are plenty of reasons you might need a new phone. But switching to a better wireless provider doesn't have to be one of them. Keep your own phone and save when you switch to any Straight Talk Wireless plan, like our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with unlimited high-speed data and 5 gigs of hotspot, plus nationwide 5G. Keep your own phone. Switch to a better wireless plan. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Requires a compatible unlocked phone and KYOP kit. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back in. I want to remind you about Alabama One. Go check out Alabama One. Alabama1.org is where you can find all the great information. Alabama1.org. Alabama One has a great credit card challenge going on. Go check it out. Take the challenge. Drop that interest rate on that credit card that you've been carrying around in your wallet. You can transfer that balance from your current card to Alabama One with no fees. You get the annual fees, no annual fees. There, that's gone. More savings there. And if you need a cash advance, no fees there. So not only can you save on the interest rates, you can save on all the others. And it's used at millions of locations around the world. Has a great reward structure as well, based on which card, anywhere from 1 to 1.5 points per dollar spent. That's Alabama One together. Let me wrap up that basketball conversation for today. Curtis Lewis saying, hey, defense won it, and we rebounded them. And that is a huge close. That's how we closed the game out. We were struggling in the first half, and I think part of that was Bediako being out. And with him closing out strong, we definitely came back and took over that rebounding lead, closing out the game. Also, Virgil Williams earlier saying JQ was, turning over and pressing a little bit, agree, but also Virgil agreeing that he was key to the win, but he's better off the ball, not the point guard. And I think part of that was Sears was off last night. Sears, I think his three ball wasn't falling, and I think that we saw that if his three ball is not off, he's not as good a driver, but he's still a strong finisher. Made one big strong finish at the rim. But overall, this basketball team found a way to win despite not having their A game, and that's something that this team has not done. This young team last night, I think for the first time, experienced what it means to be the hunted versus the hunter, and they passed the test. But maybe, X, we need to get Kirby over here and convince them that they're being disrespected, because Kirby was able to convince the Georgia football team somehow last year that they were disrespected. So maybe we need to get Kirby to come over here and give them a pep talk. But no, seriously, great basketball game last night. Great win. And they continue their winning streak, 8-0 in the SEC. First time in a long time, highest ranking at this point in the season ever by an Alabama basketball team. And big win Saturday. They may ascend to the top of the rankings to the number one spot, but I'm okay. I'm okay if they stay at 2. Give them something to chase. We do not have Hank South this morning, but we still want to talk a little recruiting, and we do have Pat and Super Joe on the line. So I'll toss it to you for that conversation, sir.
Yes, sir. Just because we don't have Hank doesn't mean we still don't want to hear what's going on in the recruiting world. But we're going to go ahead and hop on the phone lines, the Alabama One hotline with Pat. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, fellas. But just because Hank's not here, but hey, we still can do it. But hey, man, I just want to know about. I'm hearing that Perry out of Foley, Alabama, could possibly be in line for his 5th star. But because I'm hearing, as far as his attributes, that he could be the reincarnation of one Julio Jones. They from the same high school, but besides that, hey, he's got that 6'3" height and able to high point the football and being able to I run like a deer, from what I understand. What's your latest on him, Max?
Yeah, not only is he from the same high school, they are actually cousins. So he's got a good bloodline there. And an interesting thing is Julio is really the only big wide receiver that we've seen have a lot of success at Alabama. So it'll be interesting to see what Perry can do once he gets here. Interesting word from him actually this week. He said right now he's probably at 60% on his commitment. He's locked in with Bama, but he said he's still going to take his visits and really enjoy the recruiting process for a player of his caliber. But I think a lot of what happens with some of these guys depends on who Alabama brings in as the offensive coordinator. We were able to still secure the number one class for 2023 with the rumors swirling about Bill O'Brien leaving, about Pete Golden leaving, and we've seen both of those things happen. But this 2024 class, I think is going to be dependent a lot of who Nick Saban decides to ride with, along with how the offense looks in this 2023 season.
Yeah. Did you see that Kitchens is no longer at South Carolina?
I did not see that.
Yeah, that happened yesterday afternoon. All right, just wanted to let you know that it's hard to say who we're going to get, but as long as Bo Davis comes on the defensive line, I'm not concerned about the DC.
All right, thanks, Pat.
You all have a good day. Bye-bye.
All right, Pat. And then we have Super Joe on the Alabama One hotline. Super Joe, how you doing this morning?
Everything all great, man. Shoot, I tell you what, my head was just. I saw some on Facebook that Jeremy Pruitt got just cleared. Somebody
I have not heard. I haven't heard anything specifically yet on that. Have you? Yeah.
I mean, they're reporting that Jeremy has been cleared. Some insiders, and there's actually an article written by Aiden Dallas on Tide 100.9 that speaks to that. I think Saban, you said the Perry Thompson guy is 60%, and then you use the word locked in. That just shows you what we in today's culture consider a commitment, right, Joe? But yeah, hey man, I'm locked in. How sure you? Oh, about 50%, give or take 1 or 2. But anyway, I think that they have. I think that Saban is locked in on Pruitt, and I think he's waiting because the NCAA was supposedly going to give some ruling on Tennessee yesterday or today. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But I think Saban has decided that's where he wants to go. And once that comes down, I think he's going to pull the trigger either way. At that point, he'll just know what he's dealing with. That's my thought, Super Joe, on Pruitt. I think Pruitt, barring something totally unforeseen, I think Pruitt is our next defensive coordinator. Thanks, Super Joe. Go ahead.
Also, one thing I can say is we need, like I said, we can get the players back to playing off the instinct instead of the emotion, and that's what we need. Roll Tide.
I think we need both. I think you need instinctive guys, but I also think you need emotional guys, guys who are passionate about playing this game, and they're not afraid to let that emotion show. I think there's peaks and valleys in a football game, and we call it momentum, big mo, etc. And sometimes your play and attitude helps to generate that. X, I'll toss it back to you.
Yeah, when you're looking at this recruiting, you have a lot of things going on right now. A lot of offers going out. The 2024 class, Ellis Robinson, the fourth, he's a cornerback out of IMG. He's just set a commitment date with this top 5. Alabama's in that. I've heard a lot of leanings towards Georgia, but you don't really know. And I think Alabama's kind of stuck in this middle ground with these early guys committing for the 2024 class because you don't know who's going to be your coordinator yet. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of noise in the sense of right now until we hear who that coordinator is going to be. maybe some of these recruits know already, so that could play into it. But just a ton of offers really going out right now, offering the 2024, 2025 class. But, there's an interesting story that always goes out when you talk recruiting with Alabama, a little blast from the past. Have you seen the news about what apparently Nick Saban said to Brock Purdy during his visit?
Yeah, I did, and I think people making that relevant shows just how. I almost said an S word, spelled STUPID. People can be when they take a story from 5 years ago when Nick Saban made that analysis. That was probably 100% true. The kid ended up at Iowa State. And he ended up Mr. Irrelevant because his arm is average and his height is below average from the typical quarterback, and he did okay. I mean, let's be real. You see what I'm saying? It's like people, you can't let the guy get to the NFL, do all this stuff, and then go back and say something Nick Saban said that just about every other major school said, 5 years ago. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I just thought that was funny, especially seeing how Alabama did offer him a scholarship.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but no, it's honestly, it's the dead period, really, outside of being able to offer guys. Guys can't take a lot of visits right now. Well, guys can take visits, but it's the quiet period, so not a lot of news on the recruiting front. Basketball, LeBaron Fallon, the 4-star, potentially 5-star in the 2024 class, still picking up a lot of steam. So it's going to be interesting to see if Alabama can land him. And with the way this season's going, I would think that it is a very likely choice. Alabama is in his top, I think, 6 right now. So, yeah, and then, of course, we have another junior day coming up this Saturday. So it'll be a little bit more news to talk about next week. But we do have Alan on the Alabama One hotline. And Alan, welcome into the show.
Good morning. I tell y'all, boys, still cold up there in Foxborough. I'm making a one-way sign where I can get out and make sure he can't get back down here. So I even got a commitment from him, say he won't even fly over the state of Alabama, much less Tuscaloosa. So we good on that point. But I need y'all to do something. I need y'all to check those guys on the basketball team's birth certificates. Because those guys don't play like they're 18 years old, 19 years old. Those guys got poise. They got everything that they need. They got maturity. They've got it. They've got everything. And I'm just so proud of them. My last comment is, I did see that comment about Purdy, but what followed that comment? Did Coach Saban say these are the things that you're missing right now? If you come to Alabama, we'll work on them. We'll work on them to make you a better player. They seem to stop at sound bites. Put the whole thing out there, not just part of it.
Yeah, totally. And hey, and I'll tell you absolutely that's what they do. Anything I told someone said, man, hey, you clicked on it. I said, nope, and I'm not going to click on it. And I'm not going to click on the story. And they said, why, man? I said, because you put Nick Saban a comment about a hot player, it's clickbait. That's what that is. And the other part, Alan, I'm waiting on the Georgia fans and these other fans to start calling Brandon Miller our version of Stetson Bennett, because Brandon Miller, if I'm not mistaken, is a 20-year-old freshman. I've been waiting on that comment to come out, but it hasn't yet.
Yeah. Wow. They did a real good job.
They're impressive.
And not only that, they're playing together. There's no I in the team like it was last year. They're all playing together as one. And last year, that's what they missed. They missed no. They had no leadership on the floor. And this year, I mean, it don't happen very often when you got freshmen leading the team like they're juniors and sophomores. I mean, I'm sorry, juniors and seniors. And this team is doing it all the way around.
And you don't usually have it where that is the dynamic and the upperclassmen follow and not be a distraction. Okay. So as much as those guys leading, Quinterly and the other older guys, upperclassmen, they're bought in, following too. So I think all of that goes together. That's making this team, the chemistry literally is special about this team. Just hope they can keep it going. Thanks, Alan. Appreciate you, sir. All right. Hey, we're going to go straight through to wrap things up. I will say X on the recruiting. One of the big things that Saban has done, and Lewis pointed this out, is he gets these offers, but a lot of these guys aren't able to commit yet. He does it so he can get them. You want to get an offer from Alabama at this time so you can plan your summer camp because they want to see a lot of these guys in person. There's a few guys that he lets commit without coming to camp just because of their pure talent, or they camp really early.
A lot of them have already actually been to camps through their sophomore and junior years. And those are normally the guys you get to see commit early. The guys that don't tend to be guys that haven't been on campus at all yet.
Absolutely. So, it's interesting. Curtis mentioned a name that someone else said, man, this is who Alabama needs to go get. And because we were talking about Deion and the impact he's going to have at Colorado and his ability to relate to the players. Someone came up to me the other night and said, man, what do you think about if Ed Reed came to the Capstone? And Curtis Lewis just said that. I'm not sure if Curtis was joking or serious, but someone actually came up to me and they were just talking about his intensity, his passion, and his love for the kids and how it translates into relationship with the kids. I don't know about as a coordinator or not, but man, I think that'd be a big time get if you had a position open for a guy like Ed Reed. I know I'm throwing in a monkey wrench, but what are your thoughts about a guy like him coming to the Capstone?
Man, anytime you can get a guy of Ed Reed's caliber, as a former player, you're talking about a guy that's in the Hall of Fame, one of the best defensive backs to ever play the game of football. I always love going back. He's got a video that might not necessarily be safe for radio airwaves of back when he was at Miami. Just a halftime speech that will fire you up when you really need to. So I would definitely love to see Ed Reed on the sidelines for Alabama. Maybe not as a coordinator yet, but as a safeties coach, man, I don't think you can learn from anybody better.
And Blind Squirrel Sport says, can he recruit? I've heard he can. I don't know if he can or not. And Kurt Lewis said he was joking. That's why I said I'm not sure if he was joking or not. But I find it interesting that he jokes about it. But someone else came up to me was like, "Man, I think he would be awesome." But anyway, a couple other quick things that we can talk about on tomorrow. It looks like Bama wants to, go with Jeremy Pruitt from the offensive side of the ball. We've heard the Brady. We've heard Levy. If you want to find out what's going on, what's going on with Levy, just start following Oklahoma. Go start following the Oklahoma accounts. I don't know if there's any truth to it or not, but the Oklahoma fan base and Twitter Nation X seems to be ramping up concerns over Levy possibly heading to the Capstone. So your thoughts there?
Definitely believe that Levy would be a great fit for Alabama. Like I've said in the past, in college football, especially in the SEC, you have to be able to run and throw the ball. And I think he brings a great balance to that type of style of play, which would be really beneficial for Alabama, no matter who the quarterback is.
Absolutely. And hey, listen, we'll dedicate tomorrow. I think we may hear some news tomorrow regarding the coordinator position. And maybe since it's Jeremy Pruitt, maybe Saban's going to wait and drop it on a weekend news cycle around 4:45, 4:30, 4:45 on tomorrow. That it has enough time to get the word out, but doesn't have enough time that they can't shut down shop and not have to deal with it. Because for Alabama fans, it's big news. For the rest of the nation, maybe not so much. Hey, but we'll dedicate tomorrow to a free-for-all Friday, so go ahead and get your topics ready for what you'd like to discuss. We'll definitely be talking coordinators and more. We didn't get to the true-false portion of today's show, so we may have a special edition of that on tomorrow. We also will open up the mics, and you'll be able to drive the Martin Houston Show. It's the Sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team. Remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. For Xavier Houston, Martin Houston, Joe Gaither, we say roll tide out there, everybody. Have a blessed day, and we'll catch you on tomorrow.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.